What's going on? This is your budget gamer here, coming at you with a Canadian $1,000 PC build. This PC build would generally run you about $600 when it comes to the States, but we kind of have to compensate for that. So without further ado, I'm just going to begin. For the CPU, I decided to choose the i5 4460 at $255. It's clocked at 3.2 gigahertz, but it is not overclockable. But it does have 4 cores, which is necessary for modern gaming. It includes its own stock heatsink and will generally get the job done. For the motherboard, I decided to choose the ASRock H97 Pro 4. It's a micro ATX board, but it has a lot of good features. It can hold DDR3 RAM in the ranges of 1066, 1333, and 1600 megahertz. It has 32 gigabytes of max memory and has crossfire support and 6 gigabyte per second SATA ports. For the memory, I decided to choose the crucial Ballistix Sport 8 gigabytes, 2 4 gigabyte sticks of DDR3 1600 megahertz RAM. This runs at $50, and 8 gigabytes is essential for gaming nowadays. Most modern games won't use more than 8 gigabytes despite the recommended specs, especially such as Star Wars Battlefront and Witcher 3. Those run fine at 8 gigabytes. For the storage, I decided to choose the 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Blue, around $70. This is a 7200 RPM hard drive that'll boot up your OS in about a minute to a minute and a half. I wanted to add an SSD, but an SSD just isn't feasible in this budget, but I highly recommend it in the future to load your OS for important programs. If you don't want to go through the hassle of cloning hard drives, I highly recommend getting the SSD first, and shortly after picking up the mechanical hard drive. For the GPU, I decided to choose the MSI R9 380 4GB video card at $320. In terms of benchmarks, it will run The Witcher 3 from 40 to 50 frames a second on high settings and 30 FPS on up on ultra, which is better than a console. For GTA 5, it will run around 50 to 60 FPS on very high settings. CSGO will run the game really well from 170 to 200 frames per second. So you're generally in good hands when it comes to modern gaming and especially last-gen gaming. So for the case, I decided to choose the Corsair Spec 01 Red ATX mid-tower case. It supports ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX, and it has decent cable management, and it has a large panel window, so you're going to get really good airflow with this case. Don't expect too much since it's a budget case, and it'll run you about $69. And for the power supply, I decided to choose the EVGA SuperNOVA 650 watt power supply. This power supply is 80 plus gold certified, fully modular, is an ATX style power supply. I personally own this power supply, and I think it's very quiet, and I had to replace my 600 watt thermal take power supply because it started to make cracking noises. So please don't cheap out on your power supply. You may eventually regret it like I did and spend more money than you need to in the first place. If you want to spend your budget on more graphics horsepower, you can do that. Just keep in mind you may have to cheap out somewhere else down the line. All this added up will come up to a base total of $999.13. There are $45 of available mail-in rebates. That is your choice if you want to do so. After the mail rebates, it would come to $960, but that's completely your choice if you want to do so. So thank you guys for watching my video, and tune in for the next one. Peace out, guys.